is to kind of change topics a little bit from what's going on in Israel. This was aired on Fox. I didn't happen to catch it. I don't watch TV though, so there's that. But this video talks about like um
Basically
the
everything going on.
hypotheticals. Yeah, they're talking about like, everything going on. Yeah, just go ahead and play it.
Well, I forget
We'll
the name of this guy, and I'm not sure when this was aired on Fox.
yeah, same.
So,
I don't know when this was, or the graphics kind of leads me to believe this is
like
a
older.
while ago. Yeah,
It looks older.
it does look kind of old. It's a little grainy. It was definitely this is potato quality.
Potato.
Yeah, go ahead and
And this is
this
fair use.
this kind of just reminds me of like 2006.
We work for the government. Tonight, what if the Constitution no longer applied? What if the whole purpose of the Constitution was to limit the government? What if Congress's enumerated powers in the Constitution...
Isn't that Judge Napolitano?
I don't know this guy.
I'm pretty sure that's Judge Napolitano.
...to extend Congress's authority over every
realm
of human life? What if the president, meant to be an equal to Congress, has instead become a democratically elected, term-limited monarch? What if the president assumed that everything he did was legal just because he's the president? What if he could interrupt your regularly scheduled radio and TV programming for a special message from him?
Oh yeah, that's him.
What if he could declare war on his own? What if he could read your emails and your
I think this is old.
search warrant? What if he could kill you without warning? What if Supreme Court justices no longer looked to the Constitution to determine the constitutionality of...
You know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
The Patriot Act.
Yeah.
about it? What if the rights and principles guaranteed in the Constitution have been so distorted in the past 200 years as to be unrecognizable by the founders?
See, because that justice has passed away.
Yeah.
Entities equals to each other and parents
Justice Scalia
government they voluntarily constituted. What if the state
died of a heart attack.
totally nationalized and fully centralized government? What if the Constitution was amended stealthily, not by constitutional amendments duly ratified by the states, but by the constant and persistent expansion of the federal government's role in our lives? What if the federal government decided if its own powers were proper and constitutional? What if the Constitution were no longer the supreme law of the land?
Mm-hmm.
What if you needed a license from the government to speak, to assemble, or to protest against the government? What if the government didn't like what you planned to say, and so it didn't give you the license? What if the right to keep and bear arms only...
Kind of like those First
Tell me
Amendment
what-
zones.
Tell me why I need a license to
federal law that
voice my opinion,
Why do you need a license to carry a firearm?
to do anything.
government considered the military an adequate dispenser of domestic law enforcement? What if cops looked and acted like troops and you couldn't distinguish the military from the police? What if you were not secure in your person, in your papers, and in your property? What if federal agents could write their own search warrants in defiance of the Constitution? What if the government could decide when you were and were not entitled to a jury trial? What if the government could take your property whenever it wanted? What if the government could continue prosecuting you until it got the verdict it wanted? What if the government could force you to testify against yourself?
He just keeps going.
Yeah.
What if the government could torture you until you said what the government wanted?
And it all means so much more than it. Even if this is old, it means more today than it did even then.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot more.
And government lawyers intimidated juries into convicting the innocent. What if the government
what they're trying to do with Trump.
and your
Exactly.
nothing so long as the government's procedures were followed? What if America's prison population, the largest in the world, was a cruel and unusual way for a country to be free? What if half the prison population never harmed anyone but themselves?
Victimless crime.
Except those the government chose to let them have. What if the states had no rights except to do as the federal government commanded? What if our elected officials didn't really live among us, but instead all had hearts and homes in Washington, D.C.? What if the government could strip you of your rights because of where your mother was when you were born? What if the income tax was unconstitutional? What if the states were convinced to give up their representation in Congress? What if the government tried to ban you from using a substance in your body that is older than the government itself? What if voting didn't mean anything anymore because both political parties
What if?
stand for big
What
government?
a, yeah.
What if the government could write any law, regulate any behavior, and tax any event, the Constitution be damned. What if the government was the reason we don't have a Constitution anymore? What if you could love your country, but hate what the government has done to it? What if sometimes, to love your country, you had to alter or abolish the government? What if Jefferson was right? What if that government...
Oh, that's a powerful sentence right
That's
there.
a powerful statement, yeah.
The government is wrong. What if it is dangerous to be right when the government is wrong? What if it is better to perish fighting for freedom than to live as a slave? What if freedom's greatest hour of danger is now?
Wow.
I'd rather die on my feet
Then beg on my knees.
than be a slave on my knees.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty strong right there.
And
There's a lot of what ifs, and just about it, all of them were right, honestly.
well, and like right now in these days, what we are actually seeing within our government, within our community, within society, within the United States, what we are seeing now, are you really free?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Are you?
Because right now, we are not. And
No.
like, I know how you feel about Trump. But the one thing that I can personally say, when Trump was president, my life was a hell of a lot better. I could actually afford bills. I could afford food. I could afford gas. I could afford everything. The prices for food have damn near doubled,
Yeah, and they're giving you less of it.
and they're giving you less of it. It's
It's
everything within our society is crumbling
by the second.
by the second. Each and every day that you wake up, it's worse. Every single day, it's worse. And then you have more war, more taxes, more of your hard-earned money gone.
And you don't get to choose.
Yep, and you don't get to choose. Everything, all of our freedoms, everything that we are supposed to hold dear as an American, as an American citizen, all of those freedoms just being ripped away.
Like a the classic
The
tablecloth.
gone.
And most people don't even really realize that
Or
those
care.
those freedoms that they're losing by the day, they either don't care or they don't even notice it's happening.
Right. And the crazy thing is when people start talking about like those hate speech laws, like where people think that you should go to jail for saying something that they don't like and that they consider hate speech. Well, what if on the other side, because political parties flip all the time with voting, that stuff changes all the time. What if you make that a law? What if what you say we consider hate speech?
Exactly.
And then they jail you.
They can't be held accountable for their own actions when they want everybody else to be.
Right. Well, they don't think they can.
They don't
But what
think
happens
yeah.
if let's say hypothetically people stand up to the point where it abolishes this government and they install a new government back to the fundamentals of where government for the people by the people, and that government actually represents the people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the people that are fighting against the Constitution and Bill of Rights, that's the definition of a tyrannical state of mind, a tyrannical government. It's crazy
you're not
to
wrong.
think that way.
It is, and it's crazy how many people go along with it.
Yeah.
Are convinced that that's the way that you should be.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I kind of know this state of mind that is going on these days with people. These people were brainwashed to think the way that they do, to where in public schools, in places where people go to learn, they're taught at a young age to think the way that some of these people think these days.
Mm-hmm.
And you should realize that the way these people are pushing us is you will no longer own anything. You will no longer be able to live the way that you think you get to live. You're going to live in actual chains.
Yeah, and the most, bottom of the barrel of poverty you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be everybody but the political elite.
Right. And there won't be any way out.
No.
You're going to these people that believe a certain way, they want this country a certain way.
The whole world is certain.
And
way.
the whole
Yeah.
world, yeah, essentially. Once that happens, there's no way out of it. And I promise you, you will not, even though you think that if you believe in Marxism, communism, if you believe in anything like that, you can think that it's perfect because on paper it sounds good.
Oh yeah,
You
the,
push
the
that country-
classic. Oh, it's never been done right.
Yeah, I know. You can push
That's
a
the
country.
classic excuse.
You can push a country a certain way into communism or Marxism, and I promise you, you will not like it. You will not like it.
You might for the first couple months, maybe even the first couple years, 1 or 2 years, it might be great.
Right.
On the surface, and you'll probably have things to complain about it. But then after that initial, people start to get used to it, it's gonna get real shitty real quick after
Real
that.
quick. Well, it's just like in Venezuela, dude. When Venezuela collapsed, and they were eating zoo animals to survive. Zoo animals. Like, could you imagine? Look, there's lots of dog people, lots of cat people. Could you imagine having to eat your own family pet
Right, or your neighbors,
or your neighbors?
or another person. I don't see that in that scenario. But
I would hope
that would
not.
have to be a apocalyptic scenario.
But still, the path that we are going towards communism and Marxism, it's not good.
No, I can't believe that there's people out there that want that. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. But we need to get back to the fundamentals, back to the Bill of Rights, and back to the Constitution, the original Constitution.
Yeah, 100%.